I wanted to do a quick update because I realize I haven't actually done an update for a while. I've got some outstanding videos to put together, mainly of me driving through the mountains in Spain, which was phenomenal, which is about the 4th of May, which is like 10 days ago. But I haven't actually updated what I've been doing the last week. So I just want to do that now, and just make a log of where I've been, because it's been a phenomenal week. And it didn't start out that way. Last weekend, I went to Gurracha. I left the mountains, the forests, the center of Spain, and I went to the coast because that's where I wanted to be. I wanted to swim in the Med. So I went to a place called Gurracha. And as soon as I came into Gurracha, there was a car parking space and it was available. I think it was late on a Friday night or something. And I thought I was going to go there for Saturday. And I was right in front of the beach. And so I stayed there for 2 days. And there was supposed to be a 5-meter limit of vehicles, but there was no sign. There was blue lines on the pavement, but people seemed to ignore them that were parked there already anyway. So I ignored them as well, and I parked up and no one bothered me. The only problem was that a building that I thought was closed down across the road from me decided to turn into a nightclub. And it was a very unassuming looking nightclub, but it was noisy as all you know what. And the first night wasn't so bad, but the second night it went until 5 o'clock in the morning, and there was one Spanish woman who was shouting at the top of her lungs until 5 a.m. So I got no sleep. So I decided to leave. And when I left, I drove north. And I drove into a village. And this village was the epitome of tourist hell. It was tacky. It was run down. I'm not going to name it because in case anyone I know ever goes there. But it just wasn't the place you'd want to be. So I get into this village. I thought, what the hell have I done leaving what was a spot 100 yards away from the Mediterranean Sea where I could swim? I paddleboarded. It was great. And I left there. So I turned back around and I went back south. And I found this place called Cala del Pirata. And it was phenomenal. It was in the middle of nowhere. Kind of. The main road was like 100 yards away from where I was parked up. But there was a big hill right between me and the main road. So you couldn't hear a thing. You were completely private. There was another car there the first night, but they left early in the morning and I was then on my own for the next day. There was a walk down to the sea into a tiny little cove. And because it was a tiny little cove, it was protected from the rest of the Med. And it was warmer than the rest of the Med is anyway. It was shallow, warm, and brilliant. And I swam there. And I maybe had a little skinny dip. And then, as I walked back up to the van, I noticed another car parked there. And there's a guy who was parked in a car up there. It must have been while I was down bathing Alfie, bathing myself, having a swim. And he must have come up. But then I look over and there he is. And in the distance, so you can't make much out, but he's clearly got not much on. So he's not, anyway, it was a lovely, lovely spot. Cala del Pirata. Right on the coast, right on the Med. Little private cove-ish. Private-ish. I got some pictures that I put online. Brilliant. So, I stayed there for 2 days. And then I left. And I was a bit apprehensive because I thought, you're leaving this going into this village that you know is tourist hell. But I had to do laundry, so I went in there and did my laundry. I think that was like the Friday or something. It was late in the week. I did my laundry there, and then I went to this place, and it was given a 5-star review on Park 4 Night, and it was Playa de Roja. It was very unassuming. It was down a dirt road that seemed dangerous. There were bins at the very end of it, so it seemed a bit ropey, but I kept going anyway. And I get down to the end, and there's a couple of vans parked up. So I parked next to one of them. That turns out to be the most lovely Dutch couple. Young kids, right, in their 20s, on a trip they've started in November and they're going until June. So like a 7-month trip from the Netherlands. Driving all around. They're on their way south and I'm on my way north. And we just kind of hit it off. And I had a really good chat. Rick and Jet. I had a really good chat with them. Got along great with them. They were both just lovely. A really lovely couple. We went swimming. They had a dog, Olivia, I think her name was. And she loved Alfie. She really loved Alfie. She would come up and nuzzle him. It was great. Alfie had made this lovely little girlfriend, and she was beautiful. But yeah, it was good. And so we were there for 2 days, and they stayed another night, and I could have stayed. I could have stayed there for a long time, but I didn't want to cramp their style. I'm, this older guy living in a van with his dog. I thought I'd give him some space, so I left. And as I leave, I drive in one direction that was a closed road, and I had to go back and drive another way, and it turned out to drive through a couple of ropey villages, and I thought I'd made a mistake leaving. And I kept going, and I kept going past Cartagena, and I kept going as far east as I could possibly go until I hit this lighthouse at a place called Cape Palos, or Cabo Palos. And it is literally as far east as you can go following the roads from Cartagena. And I pulled up, and it had a bit of mixed feeling. A bit of a Spanish feel to it, a bit of a locals feel to it, a bit of tourist feel to it. So there's some tourist villas and stuff as well. And then also graffiti and a little bit ropey. And I thought, where have I come to? But I found the lighthouse, and it was lovely, and I found a place to park on the side of the road. There actually is a car park just down the road, and there's about 6, 7, 10 motorhomes all parked in there, all in a row next to each other, like a little car park. But I'm here with, it's dark now, so I won't show you, but I'm here with the sound of the waves and a beach 40 yards away from my van. I get the waves sound at night, apart from his breathing. So I'd rather be where I am now than be in this car park with all these other vans. So I'm going to stay where I am. And I've been here since yesterday. And I was going to move on. I was going to leave. And because Cartagena has a lagoon. And there's a road that goes up. I'm not sure how long it is. Maybe 20 miles, something like that. Up this lagoon side. And there are some big, it's tourist, it's like going to Cancun in Mexico, where they've purpose built the resort. And this is almost the same thing, like it's built on a sandbank type of thing. But I was going to drive along it and see, because I'm not this way anyway, right? And who knows when I'll next get out this way. But when I was out walking Alfie, I saw these guys scuba diving, and I thought, there's an idea. So I went to a local dive. I emailed all the local dive places and asked them about doing some dives and told them my situation. I've got PADI, but it's been 5 years since I've dove, and la-da-la-da-da. Anyway, one replied, and they are lovely. Oh my God. It is the most lovely dive. I left a review on Google for them. Isla something or other. and they're fantastic. I went, they don't speak much English. The receptionist does, but the actual dive instructors don't. But it didn't matter because we got there in the end, right? They got what I was saying, I got what they were saying, and we got there in the end. And when you're underwater, you can't speak anyway, so it's all hand signals anyway. So I've done my refresher dive, and tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock in the morning, I've got to go, and I'm doing my 30-meter recreational dive. I'll make sure I get these logged actually in my logbook. I need to get that sorted. But yeah, what a fantastic place. Absolutely amazing dive center. And when I was leaving, I asked the receptionist if she had any recommendations for food. And she said, well, they're all quite good. But these ones along the front are very touristy and a bit expensive. And I thought, yeah, that's exactly why I was asking. I asked for local recommendations. And so she actually pointed me to a restaurant around the corner. And she told me even what to get. The sea bass, lubida, a la sol, which is in salt. And it came literally inside a pile of salt, right? So the fish is covered in salt, sea salt. It was amazing, and it was delicious. And it was like 20 euros for the whole meal with drinks and that, and you know, and that, so that's brilliant. For what it was. So tonight I've had fish in sea salt. Phenomenal. And I've walked, and Alfie's met some friends, and we've spoke to some people, and I've spoken some Spanish. I can actually speak a little bit of conversational Spanish, enough to get by, tell him who my dog is, how old he is, what his name is, that he's friendly, where I've been, what I've eaten, what I've seen, why I like the place. I told this woman that I've been to the restaurant and had bought dinner, primarily because we got briefly chatting over dogs. She told me that her dog is 18 and doesn't see or hear very well, and she's a bit grumpy, which is why she was barking at Alfie. And I told her that I'm parked, that Alfie and I live in a motorhome, and we're parked up by the lighthouse, and that we've been to the restaurant and what I ate, and I told her that because I wanted her to know that I wasn't just using the area as a place to park up and take advantage of it, that I was actually doing something and putting some money into the area, which I did. You know, I mean, I've done the dive lessons and the restaurant, and I've been to a couple of pubs and the bakery and the butchers, and so, you know, that it's better than someone who's sitting at it. It's just because sometimes they tell you should go to the campsites, and you're thinking, does the area benefit better from me sitting in a campsite minding my own business, or eating in a restaurant, diving in the dive center, going to the bakery, the butchers, the grocery store, right? All the things that I try to do when I stay in a place and try to use local facilities. So I think they do benefit from me more this way than they would if I was sat in a campsite. Anyway, that's the update. That's where we are. We're going to stay here tomorrow because I'm doing my 30-meter dive tomorrow. I don't know about Monday. I might drive up this sandbank area and see what's up there, and then head up the coast. I've got like 2 weeks, but I don't want to end up with nowhere to go. I don't want to end up in Barcelona and say, oh well, that's it, I'm early. I'd rather race to get to Calais than drive up and end up there too early. But we'll see how we go. I'm gonna stay here until tomorrow, possibly Monday, but then we will move on because I don't want to stay in the same place for more than 2 or 3 nights, really. I want to see as much as I can, so I'll find somewhere else to park up. But this place is lovely, absolutely fantastic, and I would definitely recommend this as a stopover. All right, that's the update. That's this week. I'll get my videos sorted. I'll get the video of the mountains because you won't believe these mountains. So I'll get that video sorted and I'll get it up. And I'll get some other stuff of what I've done lately up. But I haven't really taken much video of the last place I was at or this place I'm at. I've just kind of been enjoying my travels. And this trip is unbelievable. I'm telling you, people, right? If you're young and have a chance, get a van and travel, right? I got this from my cousin Stu, who traveled, right? And I mean, I'm 49 years old and just doing this now. But if I could have done this 20 years ago, oh my God. The things I've seen, the people I've spoken to, the places I've been. I want to see more, right? I don't want this to be just a 1-3 month trip. Once this trip is over, I'm going back to the UK for 3 months. And then I'm planning my next one. And then my next one, and my next one, and my next one. Until I can't do this anymore. Because you really need to see the world. Right? You need to see the people, the places. I mean, I've met this Dutch couple, and I've said I'm going over to the Netherlands. So I need to learn Dutch. It's not hard to pick up small phrases, enough to get you by. And you always start off by telling people that you don't really speak the language. And then you try and speak the language as best you can. And you know what? They often say to you, it's quite good, right? Your Spanish is quite good, right? That's what I get. I got in France. Your French is actually quite good. Because I was at least trying. I mean, there was a couple at the restaurant tonight who, to ask the waiter for another drink, he waved his glass at him. To ask them for pepper, they just pointed to the I don't know, they pointed to something. And the waiter said pepper. Yeah. I mean, when I asked for pepper, I at least asked for pimiento negro, right? I at least tried to use the language. And it's the same as people coming to England, right? When people come to England, we appreciate it when they at least try to speak English, right? They won't get it right. And I sure as hell haven't gotten Spanish right. But at least I'm trying. All right. Enough of a rant, enough of an update. That's where I am. I'm here. I'm going diving tomorrow. I'm going to bed now because it's 9:45 and I've got to be up early for this dive session. All right? Good night. Buona noche.